Okay, we'll call the Human Services Committee meeting to order, and I need a motion to approve the minutes from last month. Supervisor Wood, seconded by Supervisor Sokol. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. And with that, Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. Good morning. We have quite a few items to get through this morning.
That.
Yeah, usually this is our biggest meeting of the year because our program year starts July 1. So in order to have everything approved at the June board meeting, it would come to you today.
Okay.
I'll talk in a few minutes of a couple of things that we don't have ready. The first one is to add funding to the county budget for our summer youth program. This is the money from the state under the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. And this year, the award is $82,916. It's a little bit more than last year, and the difference is to cover the increase in the minimum wage.
Okay, a motion to approve. Mr. Gerard, seconded by Mrs. Wood. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The second item is somewhat related. It's to enter into a contract with Saratoga County Employment and Training and/or Washington County Equal Opportunity Commission for the youth program for the time period 7/1 to 6/30. This would be our next program.
All right. Entertain a motion. Supervisor Wood, seconded by Supervisor Gerard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And then the next two are very much related to the very first item. This is our summer youth orientation. We do that each year over 2 days in late June, and we purchase lunch, pizza for the kids while they're there. We'll feed them.
All right,
I'll move 3 and 4.
3 and 4, okay. Second to that motion, Supervisor Wood. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next item is related to the, now it's called the Workforce Development Board. Previously it was the Workforce Investment Board.
Right.
The most interesting thing about the new legislation is how similar the names are. But they seem to feel a need to change them a little bit to make it sound like it was new, even though a lot's still pretty much the same. Included in your package is a copy of the draft budget, and it also includes the budget for the 2 prior program years. The budget that we're looking for approval on is the PY15, which is the right column. It is up a little bit over the prior 2 years, and with most of that being an additional $1,000 a year to each of the 2 directors.
All right. Someone like to make the motion to approve that? Supervisor Sokol, second. Supervisor Wood. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And then the final item for consideration is request a resolution for temporary positions in training slots. Again, this is a once-a-year resolution that we request in May, so that beginning July 1, we have the authority to provide training funds. Currently, it'll be mostly for you, because most of the adults will start again in the fall, but it's also to hire the summer youth kids. That's included in this request as well.
All right, someone like to make that motion? Supervisor Gerard, second. Supervisor Brock. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And then I did have a couple of items, very quick items, under information for discussion and review. When the agenda went out under the office space update, I had nothing to report. I just mentioned County Administrator. I did receive an email from the state Tuesday night saying that the lease discussions they've agreed in theory. The lease will be prepared next month for submission to the new landlord. The state will review it and approve it in July and August. The build-out will start in September, and we should have our space ready by the end of the year. Now, we had hoped to be in our new space by now.
Right. Where's the new space going to be?
We're not really
Oh,
sure.
you, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just
Warren
curious.
County.
It'll be in Warren County.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and as you know, we sublet from the Department of
Right.
Labor, so we're stuck with, dealing with the Office for General Services. But I'll keep you posted as we
Okay, sounds good.
The only other thing is, the next item is on the WIOA update. Typically at this meeting, we would, approve our new budget for, July 1.
Mhm.
With the changeover to the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act, we haven't received our allocation yet, our official allocation. We know what it's gonna be, but we haven't received the notice of funding award. So we will have our, I call it the formula budget. This is the money that we get every year. So we'll have that for review. And then the other item is, Warren County makes the appointments. We have slots that we make appointments to the board, and we will have to affirm the new Workforce Development Board. And we've been talking to the existing members. We're trying to shrink the size of the Workforce Development Board. Currently, there's 38.
Oh.
We're trying to see if we can get that down to 29 or 30. Three of the board members are the 3 county directors, and we're actually going to step down and not be former board members under the new configuration. I always was kind of confused as to how we were able to do that, because most of the items that are being voted on affect the operations in our offices. So I always thought it was kind of somewhat of a conflict. But anyway, I will have those for the committee at the next meeting. If there's any suggestions or recommendations that anyone has, feel free to let me know. We do try to get a good cross-section of the economy. One of the members that won't be seeking a new seat is Mike Irish from Fort William Henry. So there has been discussion about getting somebody else from travel and tourism to serve on the board. Some names have been mentioned. The only other item I have is, if you remember from a month ago, we have it'll be the last WIB meeting is on June 3rd, and it will be at 8 o'clock at SUNY Adirondack in the Warm Community Room. And certainly you're all invited. I'll send a notice out to remind you.
Sounds good, thank you. Does Sharon have anything?
No, the summer youth program is up and running from our end. We've been to all the schools in Warren County at least once, and we'll probably be going back, working very closely with preventive and probation and foster care to make sure that those young people are served as well. And the new counselor is doing a fantastic job.
Good.
Extremely pleased.
Wonderful.
We'll let you know, and if we need work sites, we'll be calling. So.
Well,
Alrighty.
you had mentioned it before the meeting. Right now, we're having a difficulty getting kids.
Yeah. We have less than 100 right now. We had 134 applications last year.
Wow.
And we have a lot of sites who would like 16, 17, 18-year-olds, but I don't know if that's probably good and bad. I mean, depending on how you look at it, they're getting jobs in the private sector, which is good, I assume, or they're deciding not to work. I don't know which, so. But we're there, and we don't we don't put a time limit on the application process. So if you do have young people in your communities that are looking for a job and/or their high school equivalency diploma, we run that year-round. Not the actual classes, but that program. We run the out-of-school program year-round. So we would be able to help them get a job, and then in the fall, put them into the classes to get their task.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody on the committee have any questions? Comments? We're good? Okay, thank you very much.
See you August 13th at the picnic.
Okay, August 13th. Have a good weekend. Denise, it's nice to see you.
Okay. Okay. South dates are into the first week of July. Yeah, we're gonna head up tomorrow.
Have you done it? Thank you.
Oh, you got it. Okay. I think that's why we're here. Pardon? Oh, really? What?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how it, okay. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Oh, oh. You got any big plans for this weekend?
So those are two I have to sign. Alright, so I just call those out.
That's
Yep.
pretty neat.
We're good to go. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you all.
Hope everything has been going well for you.
But, you know, I try to stay out of
I know,
the
kinda under the
meetings.
radar.
There's enough to do over there, so I don't attend a lot of meetings unless, asked, so.
Okay.
What, do we just start, with, the first agenda request?
Yes, okay.
Okay. We're looking to accept and approve in your packets is the first, a telehealth service agreement and a memorandum of agreement for a, telehealth service. And it is a, is it what is it?
Yes, it's an encrypted.
Okay, encrypted, closed circuit, video conferencing for, telehealth, with the VA hospital and our, incarcerated, veterans within Warren County. And this is Courtney Slade, I apologize. Courtney Slade, most of you have met her before at previous meetings. She is the, VA Justice Outreach Coordinator and, your group meets every other Friday?
Yep, Liz Ball coordinates the purpose of our program is to outreach to justice-involved veterans or veterans at risk for legal problems. And the idea is to establish them with care and services within our homeless program, our medical center, so that we reduce recidivism rates and enhance their engagement in care. The purpose of this particular program, there's many reasons for it, but as you go further from the medical center, the accessibility to care obviously diminishes due to transportation reasons and other factors. We cover a large catchment area, 18 counties, bless you. So this service is kind of like a Skype system, but it's encrypted through the federal government. We utilize it a lot for care that we provide to veterans in their homes. But within my program, I said, well, how can we implement it in other agencies and have the same idea, same service agreement, so that if a veteran comes into the Veteran Service Office or probation or county mental health, we can coordinate with one another to do a Skype session essentially, and do screenings for housing, screenings for substance use, a variety of treatment options. We always can do that by the phone, but telehealth offers that nonverbal and face-to-face communication so that they're offered something right away, and then maybe if they do need to come down or do phone conference, we can do that as well. But in addition to that, we do offer a bi-weekly group at the jail to veterans that are in the facility. But as I mentioned, not all veterans are in jail, which is a good thing. And in Warren County, members of the community have been very supportive in getting our program up and running. So this is just an enhanced piece to that goal that we have.
And the first question is going to be, what is the cost incurred? There's $0 incurred for cost. All of the equipment that has been obtained has been hand-me-downed. IT was going to take it out of circulation. We just scooped it up. So there's no cost incurred.
How long has this program been in effect?
My program started in 2010. Warren County, be very proud, was one of the first counties to jump aboard in terms of the jail. And we've expanded to outreach to the law enforcement agencies and probation. And obviously Denise's efforts have been very well received as well.
I think this program is excellent. It brings up a question, however, we just had our annual jury board meeting, and during that meeting, Judge Krugman had brought up the idea of veterans court again. And I guess I'm wondering, it's kind of a nice segue to it, how many, veterans you have that are incarcerated, that are taking part in your group sessions, and do you find that there really is a need for veterans court? That seems to be something that we're struggling to get our hands around, the number of statistics to say whether it's worthwhile.
I can't necessarily say whether, Warren County needs a veterans court. I can say there are about 5 veterans in the county jail currently. Over time, that number has decreased. In the many meetings that we've attended, the veterans court piece is not just establishing the court, it's establishing a mentor system, which often falls on a community advocate or the veteran service officer. What I've suggested is enhancing the education that we provide to law enforcement, which we can do free of service, and partnering with probation, pre-sentencing elements of the justice system to provide them, to screen for veterans and provide them with care along the way. And whether that be within kind of that element or within a veterans court, I think they both would be beneficial. But I can say there are 5 veterans in the jail, and more often than not, the lesser crimes, misdemeanor level crimes, are either being diverted to probation or an ROR to report later. And I'm getting more referrals from probation for an assessment of care and determination of eligibility and all of that, so it's been good. But I don't know. I know Judge Krogman was a part of the earlier meetings that we had in support of it.
Is this anything we have, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
is this anything it has to be reviewed by the county attorney, or?
It has, yes.
So it's all set?
If I can?
Certainly.
Sorry.
No.
The short answer to that is yes. There was an initial draft, it was revised, right?
Yes.
And then, and Denise provided me with both the initial draft and the revised draft. I have looked at this. It was my recommendation that she bring this to your committee for your review. As I understand it, this teleport program is a pilot program. It's a 2-year program. It's understood that it'll be extended. It can be canceled upon 30 days' notice by either party. But it's to afford your veterans with sort of the teleport, Skype, if you will, access to Albany VA social services programs, housing, all kinds of benefits that they are entitled to and can access, and it's to make their access more feasible, more to simplify the access. There is no cost, but we are representing that, and let me just say before I get to that the overarching emphasis of the agreement is on informed consent and privacy, which I think is great and critical. We are representing that we will provide patients with a secure and private setting.
And we have that.
We're representing that we'll provide appropriate clinical support, including access by local emergency services, should that be necessary. That we will meet currently accepted telemental health industry practice standards. That we will provide basic troubleshooting and other assistance. I assume that's our IT department that does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that we will meet any other capability requirements established by the chief medical officer. I just thought it was important for us to get that out and to understand sort of the legal ramifications, if any, that there are. By signing this, we are demonstrating our approval of the privileging by proxy agreement such that Warren County Veterans Service Agency will accept the privileging decision of the Albany VA and VAMC providers. So we're partnering with them essentially in this process. That's the way it works now anyway. As I understand it, they physically come here, or our veterans have to physically go there. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
So this is just sort of memorializing that, but memorializing in a way that makes this
Health or justice, yeah.
available through the Skype process. So I think it's a great program. I just thought it was best to come before the committee because it will require a signature of the chairman and to get that a resolution authorizing the chair to sign. There may be a couple of minor things that I might recommend here, Denise, but if Albany VA doesn't agree to them, it's not gonna be a problem.
Thank you.
We
Any
would've been
other
okay with the
questions?
short answer.
Mr. Brock?
Now they're at home when this is done?
No, it's actually in my office.
Oh, okay.
About 2 years ago, we used to have a state counselor come in 3 days a week. And then the state decided to put them on campus at the Adirondack, or at the community colleges around the state. So the office has been vacant. I was just making appropriate use of unused space at the moment, and we do allow for, like, Job Corps to come in and meet with, veteran, either dependent children or whatever. Anything veteran related, if a PTSD counselor wants to meet one-on-one, but it's too far for the veteran to drive because they live in North Creek, they can meet in that secured office. So we're just making appropriate use of the space. It's already there.
All right, good. Supervisor?
So just to clarify, this is, not done at the jail?
No, it's-
This is done in your office?
Yes.
So they're transported under, the CO is transporting them over to your office, the secure location, and then you also allow this service to non-incarcerated veterans?
Yes. Yep. Most of the time, they're just sitting at the desk making a phone call to the VA. We'll set them up, call the VA, call the right department, and they'll have that secure location to talk about their issues. Now they actually just get to see someone on the other side.
Right, I understand that, but the sheriff's on board with?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for the sheriff's supervisor, but I know the sheriff's office has been made aware of this. I did provide them with a copy of it. I don't think it's their understanding or intent that this is gonna present any burdens to them. I think Denise has explained how that process works. Her program is available, as I understand this memorandum, her program is available to any continued veteran who meets the eligibility status. I assume, Denise, that means some who may be incarcerated, correct?
That's correct.
And so Denise, I presume, would coordinate that service with the sheriff's office if they need to come to that secure location that Denise has established. They'll come there, and like any other, probation, courts, whatever the case may be, that will be coordinated with the two departments.
I have a good example for you. A lot of the times I'll get a referral from the court. I have to leave, go during their visiting hours, meet with the veteran, then come back and call Courtney to, trying to figure out what, they're gonna be released soon, so I have to try and figure out what they're gonna be entitled to upon that release date. At this point, the jail is just escorting them over, so they're getting the first-hand information from the VA instead of me being the middle person. I think it's a more streamlined, appropriate way and be effective going forward. We have already tested the system, we haven't tested it with a live applicant.
Yeah. But we've done it, we've piloted also in Albany County Probation and Clinton County Jail. It's within the jail system there in the medical department, and it's all worked out. It relies on bandwidth, it relies on technology, so, sometimes it might be a work in progress, but if we have the approval, we can do that.
Sounds good. Any other questions from the committee? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to accept and approve the telehealth service agreement MOU. Supervisor Seaver, second. Supervisor Brock. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank
See
you.
how it goes.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
great.
for coming up.
Yeah, you got it.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Next agenda item, authorization, to attend the County Veteran Service Officer Association Annual Conference in Sherrill, New York. I attend the conference, every year. You see the schedule, we have a full day of presentation and, training during the day. I think they don't have it on here just yet, 'cause I needed a tentative agenda, so I could have it here for you today. But I believe that the, meal cost is like $27, there's no other cost incurred, but I would like to use a county vehicle.
Motion by Supervisor Sokol, second by Supervisor Gerard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, I incorporated this together. The advanced training for the American Legion, is an every other year training. It's a week long in Syracuse. It allows me to POA with the VA to submit claims through the American Legion and the VFW. And, again, it's bi-yearly, and, the total incurred costs are under $1,000. It's already included in my budget every year, just some years I don't use it. So, outside of that, I'm asking to use a county vehicle, and, both the meal rate and the room rate is below the GSA rate.
All right, we should have included that in the other one, so should we,
Oh,
is that all right? Okay, no, I just,
Oh, I
I
didn't know.
didn't realize
I'm
you had,
sorry.
no, that wasn't your fault. I didn't see the second part of
Oh.
that when we were just, but Charlene, yes, Charlene, Amanda said we're good on that. Okay,
All right. That is it for my agenda items. And if everybody would just, I'll try not to take too much of your time here, just pull out the green packet that I, got together for you in there. 'Cause we have some new, supervisors, and I just wanted to give an overview of the benefits or, items that I do, go over in my office with veterans. And I first want to start with the local benefits. Everybody knows about the civil service points. They run from, local, here in Warren County to state and federal governments. That's a 5% point preference on exams, 10% for disabled veterans, and, I'm just gonna skip on to the next thing. The veterans property tax exemption, I went out and, asked for a figure of how many veterans are using that program currently, and there's 4,152 veterans in Warren County using the veterans tax exemption. Okay, in some way, shape, or form. I didn't get a breakdown of what percentage for each, but, we have a substantial number of veterans using that. I'm a little concerned whether or not every veteran knows about the veterans tax exemption, but we're working on that. Locally, the Return the Favor program, that's been, I think this is like our third or fourth year running with that. And, we have 154 businesses that participate with that program currently, and 2,249 vets are using that program, that have actually been issued a card. Inside that packet, I have an overview of transportation over the past 2 years, of the total passengers transported for 14, and what we transported, currently year to date for 15, our repairs. I do believe everybody knows that we thankfully are in the midst and have, set a PO for a new vehicle, which I'm very excited about. It's a 15-passenger aisle seating, walk-on, van, and, that should be somewhere like, I'm thinking October, November we'll have that, so that will probably be the primary vehicle that we will use. We will only use the bus if, we have a veteran that is, in a wheelchair and needs that wheelchair accessibility. And I also included how many veterans from each town are riding our transportation. Some might not know about the transportation that we provide. We're one of the only counties that still provides Monday through Friday, transportation to and from the VA hospital, except for federal holidays and a few other ancillary dates, just to keep, costs down. And you'll notice a couple of the towns are not within Warren County. That is because, their particular county might run only 3 days a week, 1 week, and 2 the next. I do not care where you live. What I do care is that Warren County veterans are assisted first, of course, and then secondary would be any other, county, and then after that would be, if a veteran needed, because of medical necessity, their caretaker to go with them, but veterans come first, as far as the transportation goes. The next couple of sheets I gave you, if you haven't been on my website, I have a pretty extensive website, and it's uploaded basically daily with, veterans, items, changes in the VA law, or, federal regulation. So if, you haven't been able to take a look at it, please do that. I do put on a newsletter every month, and I've enclosed the May newsletter for you.
Oh, good.
On that, you'll see it at the top, I send one out every month to, and I put it on the website, I email it out to a bunch of veterans, and we send it out to every commander, or VFW commander in Warren County by mail,
Great.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that they can post it at their, post. And lastly, that I have here, I was, selected last year into this year for a task force when we had the bad news about the VA out in Phoenix, Arizona, and 22 veterans had committed suicide, and were concerned about the care that was being received at our local VA. And, which then peters down because every veteran thinks I'm the VA and I'm not the VA. But, I wanted to know their thoughts. So, my thought was that we're gonna target only the veterans that I know on our list that are riding the transportation for VA medical. So we sent out a survey to them to get an overall, feel of how they believe our office is doing, our drivers are, how is our vehicles, and how is their VA care. And you'll see on the second page there behind the survey that, it's been pretty good. We're running in that line between, good and great, which is awesome. And anything they had to say about the VA, 98% of the people said their care is excellent. They had a few concerns, 2% had a few concerns about, on-the-spot appointment changes, long waiting times, or communication. The communication wasn't, right for them, but outside of that, the overall, from what we're getting, we have about, 400 altogether, some are not constant, but 400 altogether veterans that rotate in and out on a yearly basis that go to the VA for care. So they definitely, things seem to be going good between Warren County and the VA hospital. So
Great.
I wanted everybody to at least have that. It's not something we would do, it's not anything I've ever done in the past to send out a survey, but I thought it was necessary over all the bad publicity that the VA's been receiving, or either claims, backlogging claims, or the care that they've been receiving.
I think that was a great idea that
Yeah.
you did that.
And outside of that, unless, someone has any other questions regarding, you know, what kind of services are available in my office?
We had concerns over the staffing,
Staff.
the issues that would come up at budget time, and how you're doing and how you're functioning to date, and if you got anything to say about that.
Cindy is, still in a learning process. It does take some time because you don't only need to know about VA regulation, you also need to know the other flip side of it, an active duty DOD standpoint. So, and then to incorporate all your local benefits within the Human Services building. So it's really a 360, three-tiered kind of mesh of items that, you know, where do you start, where do you go to? So she's still learning, but, so far it's been working out very well.
And she is full-time?
Not at the moment.
Okay, that was
Not at the moment, yes.
Okay.
Yep, but, we are, I do believe, working out the details on that. But,
Okay,
yeah.
good. That was our concern, to make sure you had the help that you needed.
Yes.
Is there anything you need from this committee in terms of, I know back in the fall, that was definitely a priority of the chairwoman, of this committee to take that position to a full-time, status. Do you envision that?
I do
will happen
believe
this
it will
year?
happen, yes, I do believe
Is
it will.
the holdup on the end of training, or is it on, I guess I'm confused.
Or
I
was it
know-
the funding?
I think it was, at the end of the year, after, you know, the budget, I think there was a confusion of how the budget would go, or
Right.
something like that, but I believe, those things have been worked out.
Okay.
And, we're just now trying to, I mean, it's her too, I mean, because she, you know, with health insurance, and she had gotten into the marketplace, and now what is it, you know what I mean? So I think, we're just waiting to make sure both sides are okay with the move forward. both her and the department, that's all.
Because Frank, we put the money in the budget, right?
Yes.
I just wanna make sure that doesn't sit vacant, 'cause I know how.
No, I think the transition will happen this
Okay.
year, absolutely.
Okay, good, 'cause that's really what our concern was. We wanted to make sure that you had the help that you needed to do the job.
Yes, and I,
Trying to
thank
do.
you very much, yes, and like I said, it will be a blessing, but I just think that it's, I didn't wanna, her and I do talk about it, and I
Right.
think there was an issue on her part too, of
Okay,
making a little change right at the moment or something, so, you know, I would like to, I don't wanna lose her, she's already, you know, 6
Right.
months in, so, I'm willing to, you know, be patient and wait for the right time for her also,
okay,
okay?
alrighty. The one thing I'd like to just mention, I see this fall schedule for the leather stocking honor flights.
Yes.
Isn't that a case where you said we could kind of make the trip down to Albany to see them all get loaded on the airplane, and
Absolutely.
I just wanted to bring that to the new board members' attention that maybe didn't know that was happening.
Right, I know that, prior supervisors have actually gone on the trip as a guardian,
Oh, really?
okay, so a guardian's fee is $350. And again, it's on my website, you just select leather stocking honor flight, and both the applications are there for the veteran and for the guardian, but, the veteran flies free, and I believe we're completely supportive, and I thank Warren County and my committee for allowing us to do this. We do it on a, volunteer basis, my drivers and myself all rotate out, because there's like 4 flights a year, and we volunteer our time, but Warren County allows us to use the vehicle. We transport the veterans from our parking lot down to the VA in the morning, early in the morning,
Right.
and then we go down late at night, pick them up and bring them back here. They are World War II and Korean veterans, and, I don't wanna see them having to make that trip,
No,
you know, twice in a day, so, plus the full exhausting day that they have down at the, World War II Memorial, so, we're very supportive. I think we're on our 11th flight with them,
oh, good.
and, it's absolutely wonderful. And we're looking for veterans, we're looking for guardians, and yes, you can meet them here in the morning. Sometimes I do slip on that part of it to make sure I have all the other details that need to happen, but I try to send out, an email, a blast email, that says we have these veterans going, and this is the time we're leaving if you wanna, you know, meet and greet them
Right, that'd be great.
here in the morning.
Mhm.
But we have the Patriot Guard riders that escort us down, and the Warren County Sheriff is very, generous with allowing a trooper to escort us also, one of his, officers. So they escort us right down in the morning, it's lovely.
Okay, so keep that in mind, if anybody's interested. All right, thank you, Denise, I appreciate that.
Thank you very
It kind
much.
of brought us up to date. Anyone on the committee have anything else they wanna bring up? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then. Supervisor Woods, second by Supervisor Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Yep, please send your referrals.
You were awesome with the one, family that